Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's start with our new lecture, that is lecture number 19 for web technologies and programming. Before proceeding to the today's lecture, let's see the summary of previous lecture, what we have discussed in the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we have seen the dialog boxes in JavaScript. We have seen that there are three major categories of dialog boxes: alert box, prompt box, and confirm box. We have seen the first category is alert box. The alert box is used to represent the content to the user. Usually it is used to display the warning box, the warning message to the user. The alert box is presented with one single option, that is the OK button, and the alert box is used with the function alert. The second method of dialog boxes is basically for the prompt box. Prompt box is used to take the values from the user. This is the most famous method for taking the user input. Prompt box displays two options on the box, that is the OK option and the cancel option. When the user is going to press the OK option, the user value is taken, and if the user press the cancel option on the prompt box, the return value is returned null. Then we have seen about the confirmation box. The confirm box has two options, OK option and cancel option. The OK option returns the true value and the cancel option returns false. And then we can see that these are the three categories that we have discussed in the dialog boxes. Moving onward, we have discussed in our previous lecture about DOM. DOM stands for Document Object Model. There are different categories for the DOM, like CSS DOM, HTML DOM, XML DOM, but the DOM model that we are concerned with in this course is HTML DOM. When HTML elements are rendered or displayed on the web browser of the user, then the elements cannot be updated, cannot be controlled. If we want to control the web elements after their rendering process, we can do this with the help of DOM. DOM can be used with internal JavaScript and with external JavaScript. An HTML DOM is basically a way to add, to update, or to delete the HTML elements and attributes. There are different HTML elements which we need to process with DOM model. Let's see the most common methods for retrieving the HTML elements and to be processed with DOM model in JavaScript. The first method is getElementById. This method takes the element ID as parameter, and by using this method you can access a HTML element, and then you can, using the get attribute, insert attribute, you can either get the particular attribute of that element, and similarly you can set different attribute of that particular element that we have found with the help of getElement by ID. For that we have discussed a detailed example that is used as a code which is written in internal JavaScript, that is written in HTML page code, where the script code is used to start the JavaScript, then the language category is used to mention the category of the scripting language, and then the variables are created, and then the method is assigned to the variable. So the values that are taken by the method are assigned to the variable, and then that variables are used in then forward for set and get the attribute. The variables are used inside the functions. The get attribute is used to get the particular attribute, for example the height of particular HTML element like an image. Similarly, the set attribute is used to set the particular attribute, for example height and width of a particular element like, for example, HTML element image. Moving onward, we have discussed the HTML element finding process. We have seen that HTML can be found by different ways. The most common way to find an HTML element is by finding an HTML ID. The second way of finding an HTML element is finding an HTML element with the help by tag. HTML tags are given as a parameter to the method getElement by tag, and the element can be found and then can be processed using the DOM with JavaScript. And then also we can find the HTML element by using the class name, using the getElement by class name method, and class name is passed as a parameter to this method, and the return value is given to the variable, and then using different properties of get and set for the DOM model with JavaScript can be utilized. Let's see what we are going to discuss in today's lecture. In today's lecture we are going to discuss how to control the background dynamically, and similarly we will also discuss how to work with images, and in the end we will review about the date object. The first one is controlling the background. The body tag has the following attribute. The major attributes for the body tag are: the first one is BG color, that is the background color. The second one is the background. The background deals with the background of the image. And the third one is the text. The text is basically the text that is seen by the user on the user browser. So we can control different body tags for body color, background and text. Now the first one, we can set the background color by using the different method. For example, the first method is document.body.bgcolor. In this way we are going to access the particular document. Then we are going to specify the body tag, and in the body tag we are going to highlight the particular color that we want to mention. So the exact code will be document.getElement by ID, where getElement by ID is the method to find a web element using the element ID, and the element ID is ID of the body tag. So body tag is mentioned here, and then dot background color that will set the background color for the body tag. Let's see the color for setting the background color. HTML tag is mentioned, the head tag is started, the title tag is given as background color setting, the JavaScript start tag script is mentioned, the function keyword is written, and with the function keyword the name of the function, that is set bg color, is given. Here the function is getting started. The starting bracket for the function is mentioned, and then the variable bg is declared. The variable bg is assigned with the function prompt. The prompt function is used to take the input values from the user, and then enter background color is mentioned, where the value from the user is entered for background variable, that is bg, and then using that background color we have mentioned the method to set the background color, that is document.getElement by id. This method will take the parameter element id that is given as body, then dot background color will set the particular background color, and background color is equal to mention the bg variable, and the bg variable will contain the value that is given by the user in order to set the background color. The function bracket is closed, the script tag is closed, the head tag is closed. Now when to call the set background color function. In the body tag, the id is mentioned as body, which is passed as an element for the getElement by id method, and then onLoad function is mentioned, that on the event of onLoad set background color function will be called. So the body tag is closed with the heading hello dear, and HTML tag is closed. So when the page will be loaded, hello dear will appear as a heading, and on the loading a function will be called. The function will first take the value from the user using the prompt button, and using the prompt function it will take the color value from the user, and then it will assign that value to the getElement by id body.background color and set the background of the web page for the body accordingly. Let's see the output. The output is written as hello dear. Then the prompt function is appeared, which saves the user to enter the required background color. The user has entered the yellow color, and then the OK button is pressed for the given user value. The OK button will take the user value and it is assigned to bg color variable, and then the method getElement by id for background color dot bg color, that is yellow given by the user in the bg variable, is assigned and applied accordingly. So after applying, you can see on the screen the background of the page is changed to yellow color. Let's see the next property, that is how to set the text color. Set a background color for a document, and we can access the body text by following methods. See, the format is document.body.style.color, then document.getElement by id, then mention the id of the body tag, .style.color. So in this way the getElement by id will take the element id, that is the body, and then the style.color will change the color accordingly for the text in the body text. For example, We can also set a background color for a specific div element. How to do it? Let's see for the code. Document.getElement by ID. Now here we are calling my div. This is the particular div ID. And then we are mentioning .set.background color, body color, that is equals to light blue. So light blue color is assigned to all the text, all the content of my div. Now see how to return the background color for specific div element. Means there is a web page. On the web page there are different divs. On different divs, each div have different web form elements, and how we are going to take the background color for a particular element on a specific div. Here see, alert function is called. Document.getElement by ID method is invoked. Then my div is mentioned as an element ID, and then style.background color is accessed. Now see how to return the background color for a document. Here alert method is called. With document.body.style.background color is accessed directly without the using of the method that is getElement by ID. See the code of it. This is the code that is written inside the internal JavaScript and the body function. HTML head tag is started. The title tags are given for the BG color setting. The script tag is started. Function name is setText. The parameter is text color. And then the function code is written document.body.style.color equals to text color. The text color will be the setting color for particular body. The script tag is closed, head tag is closed, the body tag is started, and then the first paragraph is started where the set text is mentioned as blue. Now click the text to make the text blue, and then the text is given for the set color equals to red, and then for next paragraph the set text color is mentioned as orange. So whenever the page is loaded, the first particular paragraph will be called with the parameter blue and passed to the function setText, and then that particular color will be applied to particular paragraph as the background color. Similarly, for the second paragraph the red color, and for the third paragraph the orange color will be applied accordingly. Let's move to the next output. The output of the code is, see, before applying the background color, the text is appearing in paragraph as. Click the text to make all the text blue. Then click next paragraph. Click the text to make all the text red. And then click the text to make all the text orange. So when we are clicking it, then the colors are changing to red color for the first paragraph. The background property is basically used to set or return up to 8 different background properties. So using the background property, you can either set or you can either return one or more of the following. What are them? The first one is background color, as we have discussed in detail in the previous slides. The next one is the background image. You can set or you can get a background image with this property. The next one is background repeat. If you want to repeat a background for different number of web form elements, or if you want to set for a repeated image, you can use background repeat property, then the background attachment property, and similarly you can also position a background using the background position, and then the size of the background can also be increased or decreased. The position means left, right, centered, while the size means the height and width of the particular background, and the background origin is basically the starting point of a background, and similarly for the background clip that you want to mention. Let's set an example for a background color of a document. The code is written as document.body.style.background color equals to red. So this particular line of code, when executed, will set the background color as red for the document. Let's see how to apply a background image on a document. The code will be written as document.body.style.background image equals to, mention the URL over here. Then you can mention as, for example, as an image, the image is image_tree.png. This is the name of the image. It is from the local directory, so it is mentioned without the directory detail. So by using this, the background image will be applied for the document. How to set a background image that it should not be repeat? Repeat is in a property. So the code for it is written as document.body.style.background repeat equals to repeat-y. Repeat-y means that not to repeat it on vertical axis. Similarly, if you want to set the background image to be fixed, you don't want it to be movable or scrollable, the code for it is written as document.body.style.background attachment equals to fixed. So with this property, the background image will be fixed for a particular location and user cannot scroll it. Another way, if you want to change the position of a background image, then the code will be document.body.style.background position equals to top right. So by applying this particular line of code, the background image will be changed from its current position to the next position that will be on the top right side of the web page. So we can access the background by following methods. What are the methods? The method format is document.body.background. Previous we are discussing about the background color and then background images. Here we are focusing towards the background setting. So now see how to set the background. We are going to write in this way in our HTML code as document.getElementById, and then mention the ID of the body tag, or you can mention the ID of an element or a class similarly, and then dot background. So in this way you will get the background for that particular element. Let's see how to write the code for it. It is written inside the HTML code file. The HTML head tag is started. The title tag is given as background setting. The internal script file for JavaScript is mentioned, where it is mentioned function as a keyword, and the name of the function is assigned as setBackground, which takes the parameter of bg source. And then the function is setting the background. The background is document.body.background, and it is giving the value that is the parameter bg source. The function is closed, the script is closed, the head tag is closed, the body tag is started, and two different images are referred. The image 1, the source is given from the local directory bg1.jpg, and when this is going to be applied, on click set the bg1.jpg. The second image source is given bg3.jpg. It is from the local directory as well, and on click set background bg3.jpg will be applied. The body tag is closed and the HTML tag is closed. Let's see the output for particular line of code. So here are two images. Before applying, we can see the images are placed in sequence, and after clicking on the image, the images are applied as the background for that particular web page document. Let's consider our next working with images. The scripting language JavaScript also has the built-in objects which are called as image. The image object basically allows the web page designers to create objects that represent images using the image element, and the normal properties that are assigned with the image tag are name, the border, the height, the width, the horizontal space, the vertical space, the source of the image. So these are the properties associated with the element image. An image can be created by using the following line of code, as you can see on the slide. A variable is mentioned, and then the variable name is given object name, and then it is assigned with new image function. So in this way, a new image is going to be created and then referred for a variable. The most important property for images is the source, because the source property mentions where the image exists in physical path, and the source basically tells where your actual file is existing as an image object. So here object name dot source is xx, and it is mentioned as abc.jpg. So abc.jpg is the image which is assigned as a source property. So this property can be used to dynamically change an image on the web page. The primary purpose for an image object is to download an image into the cache before it is actually required to be displayed. So always remember that an image is always first, when requested, is downloaded in the cache of the user browser and then is displayed to the user. What is an instance? An instance is basically of image object that is to be created. And what is source? Source is basically the property that is to be set to the name of the image that has to be downloaded. Now the image object. The image object is basically represented with HTML tag image element. And how to access an image object? An image object can be accessed with an image tag using the element by using getElementById method. So let's see the code for image mouse move and on the code for image mouse out function. The code is written inside the HTML code file. The HTML start tag is mentioned, and as you can see, then HTML head tag is mentioned. The title tag is then proceeded. The name of the title is given image rollover, and then the script language, that is JavaScript, is mentioned, and then the function and name of the function is changePic is given. The function is taking a parameter image source, and then document.getElement by ID method is referred, where the method is taking the image that is picked, and then the source of the image is given as image source, where image source is basically the instance. The script is closed, the head tag is closed, the body tag is started, where the background color is assigned as blue. The heading in the body tag will appear as image changing on mouse over and mouse out. Let's see, the image source is given as image6.jpg, which is referring from the local directory, and then the ID that is assigned to this image is pic, that is used in document get element by ID, and then the actions are mentioned: on mouse move, change the pic, image7.jpg. This is on mouse move, so this is calling mouse over function. And the next one is on mouse out function, and here it is mentioning to roll back to the previous image, that is image6.jpg. So on mouse over function and on mouse out function, the pictures will be changed accordingly. Let's see the output. When an image is changing on mouse over and mouse out, so the image rollover is given. On mouse out, it is changing to image 7, that is this one black arrow with gray and white background. And when we are pressing on mouse over, it is reverting back to its previous state, that is the next button with green and white background. So this is the output for image mouse move and mouse out function. Let's see the code for image preview. We can also preview an image using the HTML code. What will be the code for image preview? Let's see it. The body tag is started with background color is mentioned as violet. Then the heading 1 image preview is given. The table width is 711. A table is created with the width of 711 given. The border is mentioned 0 and the table is aligned centered. Then the main page of the table contains TR, a row is created. Then TD, the table data cell is created. The height of the data cell is 297 pixel, and then the image source is given. The image source is image1.jpg. The ID is assigned as pic. The height is assigned as 400, and the width is assigned as 700, and the border of the image is mentioned 2. The table data cell is tag closed. The row 1 tag is closed, and the second row is started with TR tag. The first data cell of the second row is created using the TD start tag, and then the images are mentioned over there. The image source 1, image1.jpg, this is the source for the image 1 with the height 100 and width 133. The border is mentioned 2, and on click function this will be called, and it is calling the change picture, and the change picture is taking 2 parameters, the next image that is referred to as image1.jpg. So basically this is the source that is passed for previewing. And similarly for the image 2, and similarly for the image 3, image 4 and image 5 accordingly. The height, the width, the border and on click function is same for all the images. So these all are small images which are mentioned inside the second row of the table. The data cell for the table for second row is closed, the row is closed, the table is closed, and the body tag is closed. Let's see what is the output for image preview. Before that, we see that it is called inside the head function. The title is given image preview. The scripting language is mentioned as JavaScript. The function is mentioned change picture image source. Now document.getElement by ID, the picture is referred, and source is mentioned as image source. This is the main image source that is changed. The script tag is closed, the head tag is closed. Here you can see the output. So there is a table created. So here you are previewing different images. On page load, the table 1 row is loading this particular image, and on the second row of the table, the 5 images are appearing with their respective height, width and border in particular sequence and getting changed as with the change image function accordingly. Now see what is happening when we are applying the code. Before applying, it has different image, and after applying, it has different image on click. Similarly, the images are changing accordingly. Now moving onward, let's see the array of image, the main image, how to add the next and previous image buttons, how to add next image and previous image functions. So there is a difference between next and previous image button and next and previous image function. Let's see what is the code for it. The head tag is started, the title tag is mentioned, the script language is mentioned as JavaScript. Now the pics are mentioned in terms of array. An array of images is created. The first image is image1.jpg. It is going to end, the next image is started, so comma is mentioned for separating the images. The second image2.jpg is mentioned. By separating the comma, the third image.jpg is mentioned. By separating the comma, the fourth image.jpg is mentioned. By separating the comma, the fifth image.jpg is mentioned. Now this is assigned with a variable, that is count is assigned with 0, and now you are going to count pixel and you are going to count each pic and its length. So the array will mention about the length of pictures. Here how it is going to display the next picture in the slideshow. For that there is a function written. The function name is assigned as nenp. npic means next picture. The function is started. Here you are increasing the default variable value count. You are increasing it, and then there is a conditional statement if the count value is less than the p count, that is the maximum length of the array. Until then you have to present document.pic.source equals to pic.count. Here this count is basically changes and taking the image from the array index. Else the count is set to 0 if it is the last image, and the count will going to be present document.pic.source.pic.count, that is the last image. So the else statement is closed and if statement function is closed. So in this way, using an array, you can present the slideshow for the images. Let's see the code onward for the slideshow. The function ppic, that is the counter. So count is decreasing by count minus decrement, and if the count is greater than minus checks for the first particular image, then it is going to display the document.pic.source.pic count. So it changes the first image. Else the count is again minus, it will basically, if it is the first image and it is assigned with the first image of the array index 0. Else statement is closed, script is closed, head tag is closed accordingly. Now see how to call the next picture in the function for HTML. The body background color is set violet. A table with width 200, border 0 and table is aligned centered. The first row of the table is created with TR tag. The first data cell of the table is created with TD. The image source image 1 with border 2, name of the image is pic and height 250, width is 700 as mentioned. The table data is closed, table row is closed, and again a new row for the table is started. The first cell of the second table row is created with TD. Alignment is mentioned as center. The two images are referred. The first image, that is back image, is mentioned as image6.jpg. It will appear on click pointing to the next function, and then the height is 50 and width is 50. And then the next image source is image7.jpg, and it will appear on click when you are pointing the next pic function. The height is 50 and the width is 50 for it as well. The table data cell tag is closed, the table row is closed, the table itself is closed, and the body tag is closed. So let's see the slide overview how it is going to appear. Here you can see an image is displayed with two buttons, next and back. If I am going to press next button, so see the image is going to be changed, and if I am going to press back button, it is going on default state, that is the previous state. You can also consider a slideshow with self-changes image. So you will fulfill an array and it will automatically select the images and are going to display automatically with the images. So for that you need to know about the array of images, the main image and next image function. In the previous slide we have discussed about the buttons, but in the today's topic we are going to cover for the function. Let's consider the code for it. The head tag is started, the title tag is mentioned, slideshow with self-changing image, the script language is mentioned as JavaScript, pics, the new array is created where the 5 images, image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4 and image 5 is created. The count is assigned with the default value, that is 0, and then the pics count is mentioned with the pics length. Now we are going to increment the count with the function. The function is mentioned as next picture and the count is increases, and now the checks are mentioned in conditional statement. If the count is less than the pic count, that is the array, then the document.pic.source is mentioned to be for the image changes. And in case the count becomes 0, then it is the case that it is displayed for the last image, so it will come to the last image with the pics count. And always create a set timeout for function, that is the next pics is displayed after 2000 millisecond time based function call, and the script tag is closed and the head tag is closed. Let's see the remaining function. The body color is mentioned violet, and on all node the next picture is called. The table width is mentioned 200, the border is assigned with 0, and alignment for the table is mentioned in center. The first row for the table is created with table data is image source image1.jpg, border is mentioned 2, the name of the image is pic, height is 250, width is 700, and the table data cell is closed, table row is closed, the table is closed, and the body tag is closed. So this we have discussed the code for self-changing images in slideshow. Moving onward, let's see the output for it. as you can see on the output that there is an image, and the image will be changed automatically taking the self-changing images concept with the help of array. Now working with the date object. The date object is basically used to work with date and time on the user web browser. It can also be used in order to find the current date and time, and many tasks for the web-based applications are dependent on time. So if we want to take a specific date and time from the user, or if we want to get the user system date and time, and if we want to mention the server date and time to the user, so we need get date and time function or date function if we just only want to display with date. So how to create date object? Variables is created today, and the method for the date is new date is created. Now what are the methods for date object methods? The first method is get date, and get date will return you the day of the month from 1st to 31. Always remember, when you use get date method, it will return you the date of particular month. No, it is going to return you the day of particular month. Yes. So always remember, the get date will not return you the particular day, it will return the day of particular month. And then get day method. When you are going to press get day method, this is going to return the particular day of the week starting from 0 to 6, because it is working according to the array concept. So the 0 to 6 means 7 days in a week, so it is going to return the particular day of a week. The next method that is concerned with the date object method is get full year. Whenever you are going to use get full year, the function is going to return 4 values about an year, where the first 2 values are going to mention you about the century, and the other one are going to mention the year that is past or passing on or will come for that particular century. The next method is get month method, and this method will return the month from 0 to 11. As there are 12 months, so it is counted as 0 as a 1 month, and then 1 to 11, so 12 months. So if you want to get a particular day and the particular month and the particular year, then you have to take the get day, get month and get year. But if you want to take the date only, then you will get the get date. Hours. It will return the values of hours in a day, and it will return the value from 0 to 23, where 1 to 23 and the 0 is counted as the 24th value of hour in a day. Then get millisecond. The get millisecond will return you the value from 0 to 999, where 1 to 999 for millisecond and 0 is for the 1000 millisecond. And then the get minute method. The get minute method will return the values in minutes from 0 to 59, where the 1 to 59 is for the minute and 0 is for the 60 minute. And the next will the get seconds, it will return the value in second from 0 to 59, where 1 to 59 is in second and 0 for the 60th second. So these are the 8 methods for date object, which cover all the days, date of the week, day of the month, and year, and hours, and millisecond, minutes, and second. So these are get date, get day, get full year, get month, get hours, get millisecond, get minutes, and get seconds accordingly. Let's see the code for a digital clock. The script is written as, the script is started, the function start time is mentioned, the start bracket is started, the variable today is created and assigned with the new date object. So date object is created with new date. Then the variable h is created and assigned with today.getHours. It will return the hours. And then the variable m is created and assigned with today.getMinutes, and it will return the minutes to the variable m. And then the variable s is created, and then today.getSecond is mentioned. It will return the seconds to the s variable, and then the m is assigned with check time in minute. It will check the time function, and then s is assigned with check time in second. It will check the time in second, and then document.getElement by id. It will take the id of the element, that is text, and then the inner HTML attribute is used, and then the hours are displayed. Then colon is presented and minutes are increased and displayed, and then the seconds are increased. So the variable time is mentioned, set time out when function is calling start time function with 500 values. So set function call is called when set time out is invoked. So the first time the write time on the text field will be given by text. So let's see the more function code. The function will be the check time, and it is assigned with parameter I, and it is checked that if I is less than 10, then concatenate the time I with increment in I value until it is less than I, and return the value of I. The script is closed, the head tag is closed, the body tag is started with background color mentioned as blue. Then onNode function start time is added, and here the div id text is mentioned, which is already referred as an element id in getElement by id. Then the font for the div is given. The font div is 36 pixel. The font weight is bold. The background color should be violet, and the div tag is closed. This is an empty div where we need to display the time, and the start time function is called onLoad. Let's see the output of it. So the background color is blue, the div color is violet, the start function is called, the time is started with minutes and then with seconds respectively. So in this way we have created a digital clock on our web browser that is to be displayed. So what we have learned in today's lecture? In today's lecture we have discussed how to control the background color, and we have discussed that we can set the background color for a particular document, and we can set the background colors for a particular div, and we can set the background color for a particular text. So how we can do it? By using the set attribute. Then we have discussed that the background color for a particular document and the background color for a particular div can also be returned. For all these, we have seen the major method that is used is getElement by ID. The name, the ID element ID is given as a parameter to the method, and then the relevant property of set is utilized. And if we want to get, then the get property is applied. Moving onward, we have seen how to change the background color for a particular document, and then we can also change a background image for a particular document using the image attribute, and then we can also set a background image with no repeat option. Moving onward, we have seen how to set the background image to be fixed, that you don't want to change it from its position. And then we have seen that how to change the position of a background image. So these are the things that we discussed for the background color and background image. So moving onward, we have discussed working with different sort of image. We have discussed how an image object is created, how to access an image object, and how to do the image movement on mouse out and mouse over function. And then we have seen in detail image rollover function. And then how an image can be previewed, we have seen in a detailed example with internal scripting, and we have seen different functions and arrays concept in it. And then we have discussed in detail example about image slideshow, where we have seen two concepts. The first concept is this, that image can be changed on some user action like on click, on load. And in second example, we have seen in detail how an images are changing by itself. So for that, we have seen that we have used the array, we have used different functions and different properties and different elements in internal JavaScript and with HTML code. In the end of today's lecture, we have discussed in detail about the date object, how to create the date object, what are the different methods that are associated with the date object, like the date hours, the date time minute, the date day, the date month, the date year, to get the millisecond, to get the second. So we have seen the different methods for getting the values for particular date and time. In the end of the lecture, we have discussed in detail how to create a digital clock, and we have discussed the complete code of digital clock with internal